Hey all, so I have an interesting use case to talk about today. Um, this kind of came about because I was working with a customer who had just a bunch of business users who were looking at dashboards, but they never would trust the data because they thought it was stale or they didn't think it was up. Lots of different reasons why they didn't trust the data. And we found that one of the ways for them to help trust the data is giving them the ability to run a data set refresh or a data flow refresh without having to go to an admin or somebody who has edit access. And so in this case, with this kind of idea is, let's say we have a data flow. And for example, I have a data flow here just as a test. And I want my business users to be able to run this data flow at any time without needing an admin. How do they do that? And so the thing that I came up with is this kind of quick Slack integration where basically if they react to a message, and so in this case, I have this message that says, want to refresh the dashboard, react with a Domo icon to this message. And then using some automation, it'll trigger a refresh. And so to show you real quick, I'm just going to come here and click the Domo icon. So now I've clicked it. And now if I come over here to my data flow, we'll watch that it will kick off a job. Awesome. So kicked off the job. And in this case, we can tell that it worked because so right now it's at 82 rows. So if I refresh this, it's just appending more rows onto it. And now it's at 88, right? And so we can see that it kicked off the job. If I go to history, I can see that it's a manual run and that it just happened, you know, 8 seconds ago. Awesome. Great. So how did I do this? There's two things that I used in order to accomplish this. The first is a tool called Zapier, which is just it's an integration tool that lets you build low code, no code automations and integrations. And then the second thing I did was the lowercase p public API. There's an endpoint that you can hit. And so I'm just going to show real quick kind of how I did this. And so if I come over here to Zapier first, I'm going to create a Zap or create an automation. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to recreate exactly what it is. So in this case, I'll type in Slack, and I am going to do an event where when a new reaction is added. And so I'm just going to configure this real quick. Let's go to awesome reaction. Let's go with the fire. Is that on here? Oh, let's go. Yeah, let's go bow tie. Cool. Channel. We'll just use my Slack Domo channel, and we'll leave that blank. Awesome. And then we'll just test this. In this case, I'm just going to skip this test and go on to the next part. Awesome. So that's kind of our listener, right? It's going to be listening. And so now if I click continue, let's do the webhook. Webhooks by Zapier. I do a post. And in this case, we're going to be hitting the lowercase p public API. And if you want to figure out what that is, there's a quick hack you can do. So in this case, I'm going to inspect this web page. And if I want to see what is running in the background, all I have to do is I'm going to click run, and I'm going to look at this network side. And so let's look at these executions. In this case, this is the lowercase public API endpoint that we're hitting. And so I'm just going to copy this real quick. And this is what we're going to paste into Zapier. So now that's the URL that we're hitting. And the last consideration here is the authentication. And so in this case, this is kind of out of scope here, but there is we're going to authenticate using a developer token that you'll get from the admin section. And so I won't go over that, but I am going to just paste this in real quick. Okay, so now I've pasted it in. That's going to help us authenticate to the API. So now I'm going to click continue. And in this case, we'll also just skip this test, and we'll just turn on this Zap so that we can show this running. Okay, awesome. So now it's turned on. So now if I come back to my user group, if I hit this with a bow tie and I click this, we should see this job should run again. Let's see if that worked. Awesome, running again. Sweet. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's cool because anybody in Slack has the ability to do this, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of user they are. They just triggered this job, and lots of different ways you can do this. But thanks, y'all.